Royal Caribbean is dominating the cruise news of the day with engine troubles with one ship, a stowaway on another, and a really cool opportunity for some on the new icon of the seas. Let's roll this intro. Hey, welcome to the Midships channel. I'm your Captain Corey. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel today, and welcome aboard Royal Caribbean's Symphony of the Seas. Currently on day 2 of a transatlantic crossing, 10 days left here on board Symphony of the Seas. I'm posted up here on the balcony overlooking Wonderland. I don't know if you can see behind me, but if you've never been here, it's a really, really cool dining experience. But that's not what you're here for. You're here for that cruise news, and we need to talk about Anthem of the Seas, a Quantum class ship who's experiencing some engine troubles. Let's just say that. Anthem of the Seas is currently operating out of Bayonne, New Jersey, up in that sort of New York cruise market, doing 7-night cruises down past Port Canaveral into the Bahamas. Well, unfortunately, on the most recent sailing, Anthem of the Seas ran into an issue with her propulsion system, and she was no longer able to hit her top speeds. Fortunately, the vessel remains seaworthy, so she'll still float. You know, nobody's going down with the ship Titanic style quite yet, but they're limping along, and this cruise ship is supposed to do a transatlantic cruise in about a month and a half from now. So it's going to be interesting if Royal Caribbean can get the engines fixed up on this ship prior to that, or if it's going to be a little bit longer transatlantic than maybe we had anticipated. And let's keep the cruise news rolling and head on down to Nassau, Bahamas. Yeah, that place that you pretty much always go to whenever you cruise. Royal Caribbean has huge plans for the island of Nassau, and it all revolves around that little strip of land between the old lighthouse and the Atlantis Resort. Well, they've reached an agreement with the local Bahamian authorities for Royal Caribbean to develop a 17-acre beach-style resort on the property. Now, Royal Caribbean only owns about 13 of those acres, and 4 were donated from the local Bahamian government. It's what they call Crown land. If you're Canadian, you're probably familiar with that. It's public land that the government gets to decide what they're going to do with it for the most part. Now, on this land is going to be some amazing features, from a beautiful beach, bar service, pools, everything is going to be there at this new beach club in Nassau, Bahamas, coming down for Royal Caribbean. Now, the beach club will not open up until sometime in 2025. So you're talking the second Icon class ship will probably be launching right around the time this particular beach resort launches. The other question here is, how do you get across over to there? Because as it stands right now, you leave the cruise port, drive, and go over this big bridge. You got to pay a toll to get over. Yeah, it's a whole hullabaloo when you could literally throw a rock from on top of a ship and hit this beach club. I'm wondering if they will be water taxiing straight over, or what the agreement will be with the port of Nassau, Bahamas, but it remains to be seen. Going to be keeping an eye on this. If you want more updates, make sure you get subscribed to the channel. And if you love cruising just as much as I do, and you enjoy supporting small independent creators that bring you this kind of content, the best way to support my work, well, it's pretty much free for you. All you got to do is click on that Amazon link in the description down below. You can check out everything I recommend every time I cruise. I take all of that stuff with me, except for I don't take a mountain of my t-shirts. Regardless, check it out. Even if you don't buy anything, it does help support this channel a little bit. Thank you so much. Now, moving on in today's cruise news, we're talking about a cruise ship stowaway that was actually stowed right over there, basically on this ship. Actually, it was that way. But there was an owl that wasn't supposed to be on Symphony of the Seas for basically 2 weeks. A little burrowing owl. They dig into the ground, and yeah, they're cute and small. I think I'm going to call him Screech McOwl. I don't know. If you got any better suggestions, drop them in the comments below. But finally, Screech McOwl has been removed from the Symphony of the Seas. This all went down back in January. We're just hearing about it now. And basically what went down here is Screech McOwl just made his home in Central Park, flying around, enjoying all the sights and sounds, chilling on people's balconies. You can see him here just hanging out. That'd be kind of an interesting sight to wake up to, if you ask me. Now, the burrowing owl, it is not a nocturnal species. It's a daytime species of bird. So very visible here on a ship. Obviously, you're going to notice a little flying turkey, basically, flying around your ship. And they actually had to involve the Florida Wildlife Commission to come on board the ship and help remove this owl. And it took a lot of people. There were crew members stringing up nets all over so it couldn't fly away. And basically, the reason they did this is A, they didn't want it just going somewhere else on the ship and continuing to stow away, but Screech McOwl was a little bit malnourished after spending all that much time on a cruise ship. There's really not a lot of things for them to hunt on board a cruise ship, as you might expect. So Florida Wildlife actually took the owl in, kept him for about a month, or her for about a month, and just made sure they got fat and happy and were ready to be released. And guess what? Great news, Screech McOwl has been released. They are back in public, hanging out in South Florida. Maybe you should be looking out your window on your next cruise to see if you have an unexpected stowaway. Let's keep the cruise news moving along. We need to talk Icon of the Seas. Yeah, the most popular upcoming cruise ship pretty much in existence. They're launching a new program at Royal Caribbean aimed at bringing on new talent, artists in particular, you know, painting, drawing, whatever type of art you do, sculpting. Well, in this case, it looks like Royal's looking for the painted type of art because they're actually running a contest where you can get your art on board Icon of the Seas, and some really lucky winners, well, I should say really talented winners of this competition, well, they'll actually be able to paint some walls on board the cruise ship and in the cruise terminal down in the Port of Miami. Some really cool things for those of you with that sort of flair for art. Might be just the opportunity you're looking for to have your work sail around the world on the Icon of the Seas. And speaking of sailing around the world, I'd like to invite you to sail out of Miami with me on June the 11th, taking a Midships Miami Nights cruise aboard the brand new Carnival Celebration. We're heading down to Cozumel, Costa Maya, and Mahogany Bay. I'd love to have you join along with us. There is a great group of return group cruisers from the last one, as well as a lot of new faces, and you should be one of them. There's not many cabins left, so check out the Facebook link in the description down below this video. If you made it this far into today's episode, please make sure you get subscribed with the notification bell turned on. It's the only way that you can prove to me that you love to cruise, and I know you do. Thanks so much for stopping by the channel today, and until tomorrow, we'll see ya on the Midships. It's hard to film on a ship that never goes to port. I'm learning that. There's thousands, like 5,000 people on board this ship for this transatlantic crossing. To find a quiet corner with no music, well, it's impossible unless you film in your own cabin, and nobody wants to see that darkness. Hopefully the music wasn't too disruptive. Trying a different little microphone setup in hopes that it only picks up this and not that. Well, that's your update for today. Thanks for stopping in. We'll see you again in the morning.